marketing, right? Whatever you want. And then within that specific industry, it's better to focus on one specific environment and then identify what is the problem and then explain why do you believe that data and technologies can be used for solving the problem. So that is the first part. Now, once you have defined your problem, then you need to solve it. This is not going to be like a theoretical exercise. You need to produce an actual solution at the end and provide evidences at the end of it. So the second step that you need to take is that you need to collect data to solve the problem, right? So for example, one problem that you have is that you're working for, I don't know, a company into the retail sector. And one problem that you have is customer retention. So you don't have, for example, customers that come back and buy from you. They come to, I don't know, your brick and mortgage, or they come to your website and they buy only once. And then they leave, they don't come back. Well, what you want is that you want to retain and you want to engage customers. Okay, this is your problem. Now what you're going to do then is that you're going to collect the data, which in the specific example that I gave, they are describing the customer behavior on your physical space and on your website, for example. Once you have collected the data, then you need to analyze data with data analytics techniques. So you need to do analysis, which can be more or less advanced depending on your level in data analytics. So you can start with simple, analysis like descriptive analytics, visual analytics, and then you can move to much more advanced techniques, such doing regression analysis, decision tree analysis. You can develop as well small machine learning models, and then you need to describe the output. Okay, so once you have analyzed your data, what are the output that you got? So in other words, if you go back to the example here of customer retention problems, so first of all, in the findings, you need to, for example, explain what are the root causes for this problem. Why you don't have customers coming back and buying again from you. What are the reasons that you have identified into the data collection part? And then you need to go into the recommendation. So what could be, for example, technologies, or what can be other tools that you can use to increase then the retention of your customers and increase the engagement of your customers. So this is your work, right? So it's completely personalized, it's completely up to you. As I was mentioned last week, identify as quick as possible the topic and come to me and share it with me. This would be my recommendation, to just understand if you're on the right path. Because the data collection is going to be tricky, right? This is going to be the tricky part. You can go on public available repositories and look for public available data. You can decide to collect the data yourself, for example, through surveys. But if you do data collection by yourself through surveys, it will take a long time, because for doing a proper analysis, you cannot have only 10 surveys. You need to have 50 at least, right? You need to have 50 input data for a number of information, otherwise you cannot do any analysis. So if you decide to do data collection by yourself, you need to plan quite a lot in advance, right? And it will take you, I think, at least a month to do data collection by yourself. There is also a third option, right? So you collect the data by yourself through interviews, you go for public available repositories, or as I mentioned last week, you generate synthetic data. Go on ChatGPT, right? And you basically give information in terms of what is the problem that you have, customer retention, where do you have this problem, what is the type of company for which you have the problem, and then you give instruction to ChatGPT to generate the database for you. But you need to be very specific if you want to use synthetic data. You need to really give information in terms of, okay, what is the sector, what is the type of data that you want, what is the problem that you are trying to solve, what is the size of the data set, right? So how many informations do you want to have? So this can be one way for you to collect data. And then there is also a third and then once you have done it, then you can move in analyzing the data. Now, the analysis of the data, it does really depends on your expertise. Right? The simplest tool is Excel, right? So you can do the analysis directly on Excel. You can do graphs, descriptive statistics, linear regression, decision tree, everything can be done on Excel. You can use Python or R or any coding language if you're familiar with it. It's completely up to you. Or you can use ChatGPT, right? You can use ChatGPT for helping you to understand what are the analysis that could be done. So you see that ChatGPT is giving you recommendation in terms of what is the type of analysis that could be done, and is helping you to actually do the analysis for you. Right? But you need to be careful because ChatGPT is going to produce a lot, right, for you. It's going to produce a lot of graphs, it's going to do a lot of analysis, so you should not just randomly copy and paste the information from ChatGPT. You need to understand what this analysis is, because you need to explain it, right? At each graph, each piece of analysis which is in your presentation has to be explained. So don't just copy information that you don't understand, right? So this analysis can be guided by ChatGPT if you're not familiar with any analytic element in Python or any analytic element in Excel, but it has to be thought through, okay? So again, point 2 and point 3, you have many options here, right, for supporting your work, okay? I think I showed quickly.
How about point 1? Point 1 is the company.
Part 1 is about you choosing a topic and a business need. Yes, you can use ChatGPT for supporting you, but...
No, I mean, point 1, is it you to choose the company you want?
So you need to choose not only the company, but if you need to choose a problem within the company. I cannot just say I'm choosing IKEA. IKEA is a gigantic company. They have so many different departments. Logistics has different problem, marketing has different problem, sales has different problem, legal. So it's not really about choosing one company, but it's about also choosing one area, and within the area choosing one problem. It has to be very, very narrow, very specific. This is what I was mentioning about customer retention. Okay. Let me go and show you very quickly what I showed last week. And then let me see if there are questions. Okay. Okay, so this is the example that I was showing last week to your colleagues. So in this case, for example, what I did is that I pick as a problem NHS, and I basically say that my problem is NHS waiting list, right? So I want to see how data and technology can help me reduce the NHS waiting list. So the first thing that I did is that I basically asked ChatGPT to produce the data set. Right? So I say, okay, create a database to help me study the problem of waiting list in the NHS box. So it was very specific in terms of which trust to use. Again, one specific company. The database should contain at least 100 information. Right? I need to have a database which is big enough for me to produce the database. And then I say, okay, everything has to be then put in an Excel file. And this is what ChatGPT. I expired, so let me run it again. Okay, let's wait. So now I'm going to put my prompt, and then an Excel file is going to be produced, but don't just trust it, right? You need to open, you need to check the Excel file, you need to look if the informations they may seem reliable, you need to check if there are enough information there, so you may go through a number of prompting before your actual database is finalized, right? It's going to be very unlikely that only one prompting is going to give you the right data set. I'm waiting for the document to be produced, but one of the key things that you need to assess is not only the size, I already told ChatGPT that I want 1,000 information, so the size is not going to be a problem, but it's going to be the features, so the columns, right, of my database that is going to be a problem. Maybe ChatGPT is not going to produce enough information, or is not going to produce the right information. So let's wait a little bit, and then I can show you, right. Okay. Right, so this is the database that ChatGPT has produced just based on this very simple prompt. Okay. So here, for example, so basically what has been created is that you have what is the ID of the patient, the age, the gender, what is the department where the medical condition has been classified, the date in which the patient has been deferred, the waiting time, the priority, the actual appointment date, and what is the status of the appointment date, right? So this is the first high-level database which the document which ChatGPT has produced. So just for my very quick perspective, just by looking at it, I will go back potentially to ChatGPT and ask me to add more information, right? More features which help me to understand the root cause, right, of the waiting time. Because at the moment, the only thing I can extrapolate from this database is like descriptive analytics, right? I can only understand more or less how the waiting time changes depending on the level of urgency or depending on the medical condition, right? There is not much we can extrapolate from that, apart from giving me like average description in terms of, okay, what are the departments where I have the biggest waiting list, what are the departments where I have the shortest waiting list, what are the type of priority which has the lowest waiting list, and what is the type of priority which has the highest waiting list. I cannot understand what are the root cause for that. So most likely, I need to go back to ChatGPT and I need to ask ChatGPT to give me more information, right? Mm-hmm. Which, for example, can help me to understand, based on the medical condition, what can be the information, what can be the reasons, for that. Okay. So this is where you need a number of iterations before you actually come to your final database.
But this is synthetic, it's not real.
This is synthetic, it's
okay.
totally fake.
Okay.
But this is personally, this is the route that I recommend people to go, right? Because this is the way in which the market is going.
Okay.
Right? This is what is happening nowadays in the market. I'm an associate lecturer, so I work in industry. I just do these sessions on the afternoon. So in the industry environment, it's all synthetic data, which are nowadays used for majority of the analysis. And learning how to use like a tool such as ChatGPT is extremely useful, because this is how now data analytics is done for the most simple, or even for some most complex analysis. So take this as an opportunity for learning it.
Okay, thank you.
So once you have done it, then just I wanted to show you, very quickly. Then now let's say that you've gone through a number of iterations and you've built your Excel file. Now you can ask ChatGPT to support you with the analysis, right? So first of all, you can just start with very high-level prompting, just to ask, okay, how can we analyze this data, right? I need to understand what are the root cause of the waiting list in the NHS box, what type of analysis can be done. And then you see that ChatGPT is actually giving you recommendations. It's telling you, okay, let's start with a descriptive statistics or descriptive analysis. This is always a good way to start. And always, when you do data analytics, this is a must, right? Always you start with descriptive analytics. And then you have a number of recommendations. So you can do an analysis of the trend, which is not really relevant for you. You can do a segmentation analysis. You can do a regression analysis. It's giving you different recommendations, and each time is giving you information in terms of what this analysis is going to do and why it's the recommended one. And then what you need to do is that always do the descriptive. So always start with descriptive, and then pick one of the recommendation. Right? Pick one of the recommendation. So for example, I would personally have chosen descriptive analysis and
Discrete analysis.
in this case, and I will have done what it is, regression analysis, right? So I would personally, for this specific problem, I would have said, okay, descriptive analysis is a must for anything. The next step is about regression. But you can go through the recommendations, you can do some independent research, and then you can select the analysis which you believe is going to be the one for you. And then you can ask ChatGPT to run the analysis for you. Right? So now I have the database, I've decided what analysis to do, and now what I'm going to do is that I'm asking ChatGPT to do the analysis for me. Right? So for example, in this case I say, okay, do a descriptive analytics and analysis and then run a predictive model. Right? So I pick the models and I ask ChatGPT to do it for me. And basically ChatGPT produces the output. So these are basically the output of my descriptive analysis, and then for the predictive analytics it needs a little bit more information, so I cannot run it at the moment. But this is already a good start. So this is my descriptive analysis. So first of all, I need to understand those graphs, right? Don't just copy and paste those graphs into the presentation. First of all, you need to understand what they are, what is the meaning. ChatGPT can help you, right, with interpretation. So you can query ChatGPT about the interpretation of the graphs. You can add additional graphs, right? These are not necessarily the only three options. You can ask ChatGPT to produce other graphs for you, right? So whatever you want, take some time to explore it, right? Look at what is produced, look at the meaning, look at the findings coming from those graphs, and potentially integrate additional graphs. This is the descriptive part, and then you can move into the actual analysis, which I don't have it here, but it's just, you can do a regression analysis. So for example, you can say, okay, run a regression analysis for this database. Okay. So I have done my descriptive analysis before, and now I'm waiting for the regression analysis to be done. So let's wait 1 second.
Oh God. Descriptive analysis.
Okay, so it's running, it's taking, okay. You see, so now the model, the analysis is performed, right? So now it's giving you, it's starting to give me information in terms of, what the analysis will look like, and then I need to, I need to question it more to really, have maybe some graphs, some visual representation, some table. But you see, the analysis has been done already for me. So I already have some high-level results which I can use for the interpretation of my findings. So for example, what I know is that, you see, so first of all, there are information in terms of the quality of the model, right? So first of all, what you have is that it's telling you what are the metrics which are assessing the quality of the model. And from this model evaluation, you can see that the metrics are not very good, right? So your model is not good. Right? So maybe, and the reason is that there are problems maybe in the database. The database is too small, or as I was telling you at the beginning, there are not enough information in there. Right? So you should have queried your model more. But so if you ask ChatGPT, ChatGPT is giving you a similar answer. It's telling you this model is weak, right? Because you see, poor fit, and there is no variance well. So the model is very poor, high. But then you say, okay, even if the model is very poor, this is some very high-level information that I can already extrapolate. So, for example, what the model is already finding is that there are differences, there are two main factors that affect the waiting time. One is the gender, right? And the second one is the medical condition. And the third one is the priority. So this is the order that affects the waiting list.
Yes.
So gender is the first element of discrimination, but then you need to ask more. the type of medical condition is the third point of discrimination, and the priority level is the second point of discrimination, and the priority level is the third point of discrimination. Okay. So you see here you can already have some first information, right? So most likely you need to go back, you need to ask ChatGPT to produce more data, and then you can further go into the analysis. Because if from a previous analysis, a preliminary analysis, you know that gender, medical conditions, and priority levels are the three top factors for defining the waiting time, you can generate more data to understand why this is happening, right? Why gender is the top one, or why all three are so important. So you can go further down into the analysis. So it's going to be an interactive approach if you use ChatGPT. There is going to be quite a lot of back and forward. You may need to go back and review your database multiple times because you may need to add more and more information as you get along. And you will see that step by step you will build your fully analysis, as you understand more or less the results. Also, one comment is that at the end, ChatGPT is telling you that the model that I pick, which in this case was regression, it may not be the best model. Right? So and I just pick it between the list of recommendations, right? So ChatGPT at the beginning gave me a list of recommendations, and I picked regression. But actually now that ChatGPT is analyzing my data, it's telling me that actually this may not be the best model for me. I may use another model, for example, random forest or gradient boosting. So I'm going now to say, okay, so I can say, okay, now try the analysis with gradient boosting, which is another technique. Boosting. Let me see what is going to be produced in this case. Mm-hmm. Or decision tree or random forest.
Decision tree or random.
Basically, in this case, they recommended example random forest or gradient boosting. Okay. So now.
What type of ChatGPT you are using? Is it the payable one? Or
this one is the paying one because I have unlimited. Okay. But you can use the free one. But I think you have 30 prompts per day, which is for free. So you see now this analysis, the gradient boosting regression, is better, right? ChatGPT now has found out that this method is better. So now I can go a little bit more into details, right? And the model is more robust. It's still not perfect. The model is still not perfect. You see my R-square is still not very good, but I can have a little bit more information. So I know that, for example, age now is actually has 36% importance on affecting my waiting list. It's a huge factor, right? It's the biggest discrimination factor. The level of priorities has only a 6% weight, and the medical condition has only a 6% weight. So actually, the biggest discrimination is by age. Right? So this is the sorts of analysis that you can carry on until you give some sorts of recommendation at the end. So you discuss your findings, and then you give recommendation. Okay? So, right? This is your assignment. This is what you need to do. Okay? And again, I show you on ChatGPT, but you can do it as well independently. You can do your analysis independently, you can do your data collection independently. No one is forcing you to use this approach, but it's just an option on the table. Okay? Question?
But this thing you are using now is for your own. It's not the one we should use.
What do you mean? The waiting list?
No. This one you showed us is your own sample. We can use whatever we want to use.
Yeah. Just the waiting list is just one example that I showed because I don't know. It was just the first thing that came to my mind. Okay. You can use anything, any topic, but it has to be one specific company, one specific organization. One specific problem. In the fourth part, it's very important that you don't only explain the findings, but you give recommendations in terms of what can be solutions, and in your recommendations, you talk about technologies, okay? So it's not only about, what can be done, right? For example, age, you can think about triage or changing the triage approach, right? you need to think about also how technologies can help you to solve the problem. So as part of the recommendation, you need to recommend technologies as well. So last week, in the session with me, we did artificial intelligence, right? And we look at a portfolio of technology which can be under the artificial intelligence umbrella. This is going to be most likely one of the technologies that you're going to recommend. There are so many different options under the AI umbrella, so I'm expecting that most likely, I would be really surprised if one of your recommendations is not around AI. It's going to be impossible to not have a recommendation about AI, to be honest, unless you're very, very, very specific. Today, what we're going to do, and this is what I'm going to introduce today's topic, is that we're going to introduce another portfolio of technologies which is fed by artificial intelligence, right? It's in the background. So it's a portfolio of technologies which contains 4 different variations. And this is augmented reality, virtual reality, mixed or hybrid reality, and metaverse. Okay? Right. So before we move into today's topic, questions about the assignment? All clear?
It's not clear to me.
What is not clear?
Because he's a little bit confused. He said that we should, on that one, number 1, that's a separate body, a choose organization or whatever we want to choose. Number 2,
Collect data.
number 3, number 4. Yeah. And the type of thing you said that we should use as ChatGPT questions, that place I'm not getting it clear.
So it's just one way for solving this. It's one way for collecting data. It's one tool for collecting data. It is one tool for analyzing your data. ChatGPT can be used for point 2 and point 3.
One way to collect.
For collecting data.
One way to collect, one way to analyze.
So it can be used for both.
And you know how you actually present it? Is it going to be a presentation or like a report kind of style?
Presentation.
Presentation. Are you going to have to present it?
No, you need to upload it.
Oh, just upload it?
Yes.
Okay.
With a 1,500 words,
Within
including in the
presentation.
body of the presentation, not in the notes.
No, okay.
Yeah, just in the text. Yeah. And tables and pictures, they don't count, so business as usual.
So we can use table and picture as appendices.
Yeah, it's a presentation, so don't really use appendixes, just put into the presentation.
Okay. Miss,
You can use the PowerPoint, or I will really push students to use Canva as much as possible, because PowerPoint is outdated.
We don't understand.
It's all about Canva
No, I don't
nowadays, so try to
understand.
use Canva as much as possible, okay?
I don't understand Canva yet.
So you can use PowerPoint if you don't feel comfortable. Any more questions?
Yeah. Please, you know one thing, like when you are teaching, it's entering my brain, but it's flying out. So I would like if you can give me the assignment brief so I can be focusing my eyes on it. Because like you are teaching, I'm not seeing, going back to read it, it's just like flying out again.
Yeah, so the module leader has basically uploaded in the assignment brief. So go to assignment brief information, the assignment is here.
Okay.
Right. Okay, so let's go to today's topic, augmented reality, virtual reality, and mixed reality. So I would say it's enough talking about me. So what I would like you to do is that 2 groups of 2 and 1 group of 3, do some research and let me know what's the difference between these. Okay, so guys, the 3 of you together, you work in 1 group and then 2 groups of 2 each. You have 10 minutes for this activity.
Okay.
So what's the difference between augmented reality, virtual reality, and hybrid and metaverse?
So should we use ChatGPT on this?
As you want, yes, I'm not against it. But you need to understand the answer.
Yeah, but
That's the
with
point.
ChatGPT, will tell me everything. Because I keep on asking questions, going back.
Yeah, you can.
Okay, I'll do the first one. You do the second one.
Oh, yeah. No, not with my word.
I'm on my own anyway.
Oh, you can. It's the 3 of you together.
Okay. Are you happy to work with me?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. But some of these young people, they don't like our age.
So yes,
I'm going to ask them. We done it last week.
We edited this one. So we did, we took. They joined the meeting. You know what
Yeah, I'm social. And he was upset.
We haven't had a meeting. We haven't had a meeting.
marketing agency.
We set up a meeting. And then they went, oh yeah, we can't do that. And then
We've
after
had
Christmas.
3 no's.
Who's in your group?
Me and Jake.
Does you group?
Well, it's more like three.
We have at least 3 potatoes in our group.
Why don't you just say you're coming?
Yeah, just leave that.
No, we can't,
Just
because
say you're not getting on.
no, our teams can't back. We're happy with food we've got. We just want them out of that food. You know me?
guys, this is time for the exercise.
Sorry,
You
sorry.
can have this conversation during after.
I don't know what it is anyway.
Ooh.
Okay, so look for examples and applications if you know the difference. So I want to see examples. If you know really the difference, I want to see industry examples. So companies that actually produce examples for each type and application in one specific sectors. Or
The first one uses, okay,
I've brought examples as well.
okay,
and
good.
the show up on the video.
Yeah, it's gonna worry about that, so.
That's
Are uses like artificial ones.
Yeah, it is. That's what I'm hearing as well.
AR uses like the camera real life pictures.
Really?
So it's natural. It's not generated.
Okay.
You got it?
I think I get you.
Sorry, Matilda.
Yeah, I think I get you.
Just to ask you a question. By the
So
way,
it's
my name's
basically-
Emmanuel. Nice to meet
They're
you.
very
I mean,
similar. They're very similar.
so
The first
for
one
the
is like
assignment,
more pictures. They actually have real
Are you
life.
expecting us to use
Thanks.
ChatGPT?
And then the
No, I'm
second one,
recommending
they
you.
artificially make it.
I'm
Okay,
recommending you.
okay.
It's just one option.
Yeah.
If you don't,
It makes a change. What teachers are kind of opposite.
it's different if you're using ChatGPT for producing a presentation or writing a report is very different than using ChatGPT for collecting the data and for analyzing the data. Because otherwise you need to be professional data analytics or data analyst for doing it. Which if you are more than welcome.
Yeah. Well, I actually have some of these professional.
So if you want to do your own analysis with Python or R, I absolutely welcome it. But yeah, I cannot expect everyone to have it.
Yeah, you're great.
So if you're familiar with any data analytics, I'm expecting much more advanced
Yeah.
than linear regression or
Okay.
gradient boosting.
Well, yeah. I'm used to that, you know, they're
This is which one? What's
very good.
what AI are you using?
Which one?
I use this one.
I don't use it. I just use Google.
So,
I use Google.
you don't mean that?
Okay. Are we working as a team?
Just for this activity. Not for the assignment. The assignment is by yourself.
No, the
Yeah, this we're working on.
no, don't worry. That one is the final assignment.
So the final assignment, you do you, I do it. It's by yourself.
Oh, I know.
So,
I've been dealing with Jackie. This is my second data analysis with her. So I know the module already.
Okay.
So this one now, what does Miss want us to do?
So just what they mean. What
Oh,
is
I find the meaning already.
it? Yeah, then that's it.
Okay. Miss, are we going to upload the meeting or
No,
just?
we are going to discuss together.
Okay.
We have a few minutes left.
I've done my own. There's something I really want to understand. Is okay. Let's say I choose IKEA. I find the problem in IKEA. That one is number one. Number two, collect data. You were saying that we can ask data. So when I choose IKEA, am I going to collect data from IKEA?
It's going to be very unlikely. They will never give you data, so you need to.
No, I'm going to go to artificial.
Yeah, you can ask. For example, if it's, I don't know, stock management IKEA, you can ask.
I don't learn with noise. You will come, you go, because I'm a visual learner. That's why I carry all these gadgets. I can't learn without this. So what I'm saying, when I choose a company, like what we did before, we write about technology, and the lecturer said that the problem on the technology, which I choose Google, and no. So like IKEA, can we choose HR? Is their problem?
Yes. So recruitment. Yes. So even HR, you need to decide if it's recruitment, if it's retention. You know, even within HR, you need to choose one particular area.
Problem. I think this is So I understand that one, but when you say that we should ask a ChatGPT question, analyze. What am I analyzing?
So if, for example, the problem is about recruitment in IKEA, you need to have data which help you to understand what is your problem.
Okay, good. I'm getting it now. So the
guys.
That's why I run away from them. The noise will do my brain. It comes boom, everything will. Okay, I get it now. If the problem is employment age, I will ask. That's number 2. Number 3.
Yeah, so my problem is recruitment in IKEA. Then I need to, number 2 is about collecting data about what can be the problem in recruiting, and number 3 can be analyzing my data to understand why I have problems.
Okay, I got it now.
Okay.
Yeah, 3 things. Find organization. What is the problem? Analyze the data. So, but those 3 type of name you say we should use to search for the data. What's the name again?
ChatGPT?
You say that a particular type of data we should ask for.
Synthetic. No, I just need to ask ChatGPT to create the data. I need to tell them what they need.
Okay, miss, I get it now. Now you explain it. I'm not an easy learner. That's my problem.
Okay, guys, this is not very respectful. They are working on the activities. If you have done your activity, you can go outside for 1 minute and then come back.
So what did you find? Young people like using Google. Yeah, I like Google, but Google can give you, confuse you,
Guys, 1 more minute and then I think we can wrap up.
You just need to understand Google,
Yeah. So I just put all of them up. So this is the first one on the list. And it just gives me the answer. And it also gives me an example of where they use it.
Okay.
Which is a game.
NVIDIA.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a game.
Yeah, it's a
They use it in a game.
Okay, let me see what ChatGPT is. I like ChatGPT, but my son said I should take the one to pay, 26 pounds. Okay, this is what ChatGPT gave me.
Sorry, so we're
Number
talking
1,
about the
see what
assignment.
he gave me.
It's
Use
just one
case,
company and one industry.
education.
And one
So yeah,
business
I gave you the
problem.
same example as me.
So as I was mentioning, it's like IKEA,
It's
HR,
the same as Google.
recruitment.
Okay.
So it's problems with
Google
recruitment.
in ocean. And
It has to be very specific.
Swim. I don't know how to
So I can't just say like, I
swim.
don't know,
That is my problem. I like Google.
building,
Google
and then
always
say
make
like,
me
I
deeper.
don't know,
The ChatGPT is
That
like
means
a mother. You say,
weather.
oh, ChatGPT, please, can you
Sorry?
break it
I
down?
can't say like, I
break
don't
it
know,
down.
construction and
Can you
then
jump up? You jump
bad
up.
weather.
You know. ChatGPT
So
is
you are, okay,
good.
construction
I know that's a
sector?
very
The
like,
only
bad
thing I'm
example.
telling people, don't
You
copy.
kind of get what I'm
Don't
saying.
No.
rely on
So the
ChatGPT.
sector is
Sometimes you give
construction.
fake information.
Bigger business in construction. And then
People don't give the information.
So what is the problem in the
Sometimes
construction
different, but
code?
you need
So,
to, I
No, no,
use
no, no.
everything.
I have no
Yeah,
idea.
just an example, no?
You start.
So for example, one of the biggest problems in
website.
construction
I
is
just
late.
search
They're
the
always
name
late.
and then
Yeah.
I
They
search
never
meaning,
deliver on
and
time.
then it gives me a meaning.
I don't know how to use this. Let me see if I can learn from
There's
you.
a high list of
Okay,
anyone there.
so how do you do it?
So you do on the menu.
Okay, guys, so let's go. Now let's. So what is the first step? Is that before we rush into the solutions, we need to understand, guys.
You ask a question and then just go back.
Let's go, guys. Let's wrap up now, guys. Okay, so let's come together now. So now the first point to understand is what are the differences between those two technologies, because there is a lot of misunderstanding. So who wants to go? What's the difference? Let's start by the first two, augmented and virtual reality. These are the most confusing one. Sorry, what was your name?
Me,
Yes,
Jake.
Jake. Okay, do you want to go, please?
Uh,
So I want to know just the difference between AR and VR.
so VR is obviously virtual reality, so like examples of playing games, so Oculus Rift, Meta.
No, I don't want to know the solutions yet. I want to know the difference in the technology.
So it's like, I don't know how to explain it. Virtual's more, oh god,
Because you told me that you already knew it and you didn't have to do the activity.
VR is basically how users can react with the virtual world as if they're physically in it, whereas AR is interacting with both simultaneously.
So physically, what's the difference? What do you need for VR
Like a
that you don't need for AR?
headset.
Yes, you need a headset, right, for VR. What do you need for AR? An example of one thing that you can use for AR?
A phone.
A phone. So this is a huge difference, right? Because what it is, I have it. No, not this. Okay, I just want to show you the case of IKEA, just because it's just the easiest one, right? You see here. This is the example of virtual reality, because what you do is that with your phone, you build an environment, which can be your room, your house, whatever you want, and then you basically can drop the different furniture, and you can see in this augmented reality world how your room may look like if you buy the different furniture. But you're not in it, right? You're using your phone to do it. A very common one is also, for example, e-commerce for clothing. So you take a picture of yourself, you upload this picture online, and then there are different clothes. You can set the different clothes, and you can see how these clothes look like on you. This is augmented reality. You are not in it. You're using a device, for example, a phone. Augmented reality.
Augmented.
So you're using a phone, which is the most likely one to happen, for helping you with that. The augmented reality is when you are in it. What is an example of one case when you use Google's? And you are in it? Has anyone used it?
Gaming.
Gaming, very popular. You are in it and you are immersed in the activity. Another one?
Virtual tours.
Yes. I think which is about, hearts, for example, they're using it a lot. So you are really immersed, right, into this world. So you are in the games, you are fully immersed in the game. You are doing a virtual tour and you are fully immersed in a virtual tour. What's then hybrid mixed reality?
Or is that the real world and that you're in like data, you can see some like the internet, I don't know how to explain.
Mixed reality.
It's a mix of VR and AR. So like VR, so it's you can like, as for IKEA, you can put the objects in, but it's in real time, I think.
No?
Mixed reality.